We're going to talk a little bit about Abraham and to share with you all that there's a prophecy that you wouldn't find directly in the Torah, the book of Genesis, about Abraham. But Abraham, when you think about Abraham as a seed, as a shell or a capsule. You know, when you have medicine, there's a capsule, and in the capsule you have all the ingredients. Once it comes out, a lot of things start to change in the body and whatnot. The seed, once the water, the moisture hits the seed, the sunlight, the warmth hit that seed, a lot of different things come out of the seed that you didn't know was there. And that seed turns into a tree. And that tree produces a lot of fruit, and it's strengthened, and it takes over the earth. And if depending on the tree, if you try to cut the tree down, you may not succeed because the roots are so deep that even if you cut the tree down, the stump so strong that it will recover and grow again. So think of Abraham in that light. Abraham is a seed that holds a complete history within himself. Okay, so there is some reading in the book of Joshua we're going to take a look at. We're going to look at Joshua. I think we're going to touch on Enoch and other places in the Bible to bring out a little bit more understanding of how prophetic his life was, and how it plays into our lives today. Now, there are a lot of people who are talking about CERN, the CERN machine, how that has affected the atmosphere and so forth. Let me tell you something. The Most High is the one that controls all of the weather. As a matter of fact, before we go into Joshua and so forth, we're going to go to the book of Enoch. And, well, let me do this first. I think we can start with book of Revelations, right? Let's do that first. The book of Revelations talk about the different angels. And what it explains to us it talks about, let's go to Revelations chapter 16. We're just given some small examples. Just a little taste of that the Most High is in charge of everything that is happening upon this earth. So it's not a CERN. All men can do is disturb things, but man don't have the power to move certain things with such intensity throughout this earth. If they had the power to, things would have been over a long time ago. And think about it too, right? The Bible says in the book of Revelations, chapter 18, that Babylon will be fallen. And when it says Babylon will be fallen, it says that the merchants cried because of the destruction of Babylon being destroyed. Now, the super rich are the ones who finance the CERN machine and the HARP and all the different types of systems that are out there. Why would they send a storm to destroy their own economy. And even if they destroy the economy even if they had the ability to send a storm, for example, to destroy buildings so they can start making more money again. The Bible says in Revelations that the merchants will be crying because of the destruction that has fallen upon their systems. That's in the book of Revelations chapter 18. Keep in mind that the super rich has been building bunkers. Why are they building bunkers? And who's gonna, if they destroy all the poor on this earth, how are they gonna keep their monies? Who's gonna build the world over again if everything is destroyed? Machines is destroyed from floods and fire and earthquakes and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? Nuclear plants is destroyed. Electrical grids are destroyed. From all these different things, who is going to rebuild? Because we know that the super rich are Gentiles. And if they tear open the ozone layer and the heat of the sun comes out, how are they going to survive the radiation of the sun? First of all, they don't have this complexion to tolerate even 70 degrees on a beautiful day on the beach. They have to use sunblock. When you put on sunblock and you look at this person under the UV light, they look like a black person. Okay? So it makes no sense. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. And we're going to read verses 17. Let me pull it up on the screen. Revelations 16 and verses 17. Let's take a look who is in control, and that the Most High has angels who controls the weather, who controls everything. He set those angels because there are different types of angels. Okay, let's see what it says. Verses 17.
And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, "It is done." Mm-hmm. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings.
There were what?
Thunders, lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth.
So the angel poured out his vials into the atmosphere. The Bible says there were voices, thunders, lightnings, and there was a what? A great earthquake. Read on. Such.
So mighty an earthquake and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts. And the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before Yah, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away.
And every what?
And every island fled away. And the mountains were not found.
Read on.
And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent.
And what happened?
And men blasphemed Yah because of the plagues of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great.
Now our study is not on the book of Revelation, but when you look into it, you'll see that there's voices, the spirits on record was crying out to the Most High saying, how long do we have to stay asleep? And the Most High says, you hang in there for a little bit, because I got other things to do. And I'm going to pour out my wrath upon this earth. And then after that, you see all these different things happening. The woes, the plagues, the vials, such and such and such, okay, upon this earth. When you go into the book of Enoch, and let me see if we can pull it up here. Enoch, let's go to chapter 60. Chapter 60, the book of Enoch, chapter 60. Let me see if we can get it here. Parables, okay. 60, 60. Got these Roman numerals here, so give me 1 second. 60 and verses. We'll pick it up at verses. Where do I want to go?
Start from 1.
No, we have a lot of things to read, so we don't want to go through all of it. Let's go down to verses 17. Let me see. Hang on 1 second. I don't like this. Let me see if you can find another one. Hang on 1 second, brothers and sisters. Go ahead and read from 17. Let me try to find a better Enoch.
Okay, from 17. Well, 17 is part of 16, so I don't know how they have that.
Go ahead and read.
Okay. Do you want to do from 16 because there's part of 16 in 17?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Just to give them the sense.
Yeah, okay. And the spirit of the sea is masculine and strong, and according to the might of his strength, he draws it back with a rein, and in like manner it is driven forward and disperses amid all the mountains of the earth. And the spirit of the hoarfrost is his own angel.
The spirit of the what?
The hoarfrost is his own angel.
Is his own angel. So the spirit of the hoarfrost, the snow, that's his angel. Read.
And the spirit of the hail is a good angel.
The hail is also an angel. Read.
And the spirit of the snow has forsaken his chambers on account of his strength. There is a special spirit therein, and that which ascends from it is like smoke, and its name is frost. And the spirit of the mids is not united with them in their chambers, but it has a special chamber, for its course is glorious both in light and in darkness, and in winter and in summer, and in its chamber is an angel. And the spirit of the dew has its dwelling at the end of the earth, at the end of the heaven, and is connected with the chambers of the rain, and its course is in winter and summer, and its clouds and the clouds of the midst are connected, and the one gives to the other. And when the spirit of the rain goes forth from its chamber, the angels come and open the chamber and lead it out. And when it is diffused over the whole earth, it unites with the water of the earth. And whensoever it unites with the water on the earth, for the waters are for those who dwell on the earth, for they are nourishment for the earth from the Most High who is in heaven.
What verse are you on?
Verse 22. Therefore there is a measure for the rain, and an angel take it in charge. And these things I saw towards the garden of the righteous. And the angel of, verse 23, and the angel of peace who was with me said to me, these two monsters, prepared conformable to the greatness of Yah, shall feed. And then it goes to 61.
Okay. All right. Let me see something here. I'm looking at a different, still Enoch, but the way that they have it laid out might be different from what you have in your. Let's see. Okay, so I have it as 59 verses 9. Let me pull it up on the screen so our brothers and sisters can see. And let me make it just a little bit bigger.
61 is good.
59 and verses 9 says, the spirit, you can see it here, the spirit likewise of the sea is potent and strong. See that? And as a strong power causes it to ebb, so it is driven forwards and scattered against the mountains of the earth. The spirit of the frost has its angel. The spirit of the frost has its angel. In the spirit of the hill there is a good angel. The spirit of the snow seizes in its strength, and a solidarity spirit is in it, which ascends from it like vapor, and is called refrigeration. So I just wanted to share with you all briefly that the Most High is the one who has ordained his angels to do certain works. Is that correct? Now remember also that when the Most High was delivering Israel out of Egypt, he had an angel. Even when you read the book of Judges, chapter 6 and 21, it speaks about an angel going up into the fire, right? Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, were you saying something?
No.
Okay. Let's get Judges real quick. So let's get, this is the last one with the angels, just to show that the Most High is the one who's in control of everything. Don't let the peoples fool you. In the book of Judges, chapter 6. That's why we ought to be respect the Most High, because he's the one with all the power. Judges chapter 6 and verses 21. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just go ahead and read.
And the angel of Yah put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and unleavened cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. Then the angel of Yah departed out of his sight.
Mm-hmm. There's another place where it speaks of the angel going up into the flame. Do you remember what that is?
That was with Samson.
With Samson, right?
Mm-hmm. Chapter 13, I believe.
Okay. Let's go to chapter 13, Judges 13.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
Somewhere around 15, 11. From 11, 12, 13.
Verses, you can read let's read from verses 18.
Okay.
This is about the birth of Samson around that time.
Mm-hmm.
When his parents were conversing with the angel.
Mm-hmm.
Verses 18. That's Judges chapter what again?
13.
13 and 18. Go ahead and read.
And the angel of Yah said unto him, Why askest thou thus after my name, saying, It is secret? So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering, and offered it upon a rock unto Yah. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of the Lord ascended in the flame on the altar.
See that?
And Manoah and his wife looked on it and fell on their faces to the ground.
So we can see clearly that the Most High controls everything, and his angels are his ministers. Okay. Shabbat Shalom again to Brother Felix. He's online, and I know that try to conserve your little batteries and stuff, okay, as much as possible. It goes to show the heart of our brother, how even though there's no power except for the little batteries that he has, guess where the brother is? He's in a classroom. If we had a temple, he would be in a temple, sitting right there. Okay? It just goes to show what his heart is. Right? So now, let's go into our class. Let's look at Abraham. That there's judgment based on the life story of Abraham. So what we're going to do, first of all, is take a look at the history of this world. And we're going to look at Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 13. And then we'll go to verses 17 to 18. First of all, we're going to see that, as you can see on the screen, brothers and sisters, we find to the top part of the screen, there's a picture of the ark, a picture depicting Noah's ark. This is to set an example of the timeline of the history of the world. The first part is from Adam until Noah. The statue that you see with the head of gold, silver, brass, and iron is the history of the rest of the world. Now, we're not doing a class on the whole entire history, but we want to kind of set things up to show when the prophecies really went out to speak about the plan of the Most High, the blueprint of the Most High, but then we're going to zoom in on Abraham's life, or some prophecy that occurred we can read in the book of Jasher with regards to Abraham. I want you all to pay close attention and listen, because I know many of y'all are writing. You can always go back and look at the video. Okay? All right. So when we look at the timeline of events after the flood or before the flood, you're going to see that there's no world empire. There's just families. Okay? Families that are recorded. Enoch and all Methuselah and all the Lamech and all those people. It's all just families. You don't have a world empire. Okay? Until after the flood. So let's go to Genesis 6. And we're going to start at verses 1 to verses 13.
And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of Yah saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. And they took them wives of all which they chose. And Yah said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Yah came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Again, brothers and sisters, the reason why we're starting here is to refresh within your mind a history of events, and to understand that in order for us to know about the end times and what's occurring right now in this world, we need to go to the beginning, because the beginning is actually a blueprint of the end. All right? So continue on.
And it repented Yah, that he had made man on the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and it grieved him at his heart.
Now remember that the Most High said for man to be fruitful and to multiply. So even part of that, not just grieve his heart that he made man, but everything that connects to man, the multiplication of man. So he has to remove the multiplication of men also by removing men, evil, wickedness. Read.
And Yah said,
Uh-huh.
I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
both man and beast, and the creeping things, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with Yah. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Mm-hmm.
The earth was corrupt before Yah, and the earth was filled with violence.
So if you think about the earth as a vessel, like a cup, and you imagine something like a cup being filled, it means that it has reached its capacity.
Mm-hmm.
It could go no further, right? It's
Yeah.
just time for something to happen because it's going to spill over.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bible is saying the earth was in that condition. It was filled, okay, with violence, not with peace and love. Imagine with all the solutions that we have on this earth right now. The more men go to school to learn science and academics and everything else, has the earth become any better? No. Even though they have the technologies of medicine and so forth, has the earth become better? They claim that syphilis is over. We have found a cure for AIDS. We have found a cure for this and that. And every once in a while, you find it pops up again. Has the earth become any better? No. So men are failing. They're not the solution. They're the problem. Read on.
And Yah looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth.
All flesh was corrupted. He looked upon the earth. Now, when the Most High have to look on the earth and see these kind of things, he has to act. Verses 13.
And Yah said unto Noah,
Uh-huh.
The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Let's go down to, what did I say?
17.
17.
And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth,
Mm-hmm.
to destroy all flesh wherein is the breath of life from under heaven. And everything that is in the earth shall die.
Read.
But with thee will I establish my covenant. And thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee.
Now, let me tell you this, brothers and sisters. The Most High looks at the heart of certain individuals, and we're going to pick up a little bit more meat from this in the book of Jasher in a moment. But he looks at the heart of people, and imagine, out of the millions that were on this earth, Noah was the only one in his family that was deemed righteous to preserve. It got so bad that the only one the Most High could work with was a very small amount. Now think about this in the scale of this earth right now. Even though there are Hebrews throughout the Caribbean and here in America and the rest of the world, when the Most High pours out his judgment, it says in the book of Genesis that well, not Genesis, the book of Revelation, it says that even when he poured out his wrath upon this earth, the Bible says that the people blaspheme the Most High.
Yes.
Sometimes when you're trying to have a conversation with fellow Israelites, they blaspheme the Most High. It goes to show that it's only a few. Now, he already made a deal, a covenant with a certain people, okay? But even within that group, He's only going to choose the righteous among Israelites. That's why it says that he's going to sift. Matthew chapter 13 says he's going to do what?
Gather all that offend.
All that offend, and he's going to throw all that offend into the fire. Okay? So only a few among the righteous, among the chosen, I should say, that's going to make it in. That's why it says also that scarcely, if the righteous scarcely be saved, the righteous scarcely is a very unique word, right? Be saved. Where will what? The ungodly and the sinner appear. Where are they going to show up? That's why we got to check ourselves at all times. We have kings written in the book, righteous kings, who started off good, and then later on, what happened to them? Saul started off good, and later on in his life, demons took over his body. Okay, so let's leave that. You want to say something? Grab the mic. We're going to go to the book of Joshua, chapter 4, verses 16 to 21.
There was interviewing this man.
Speaking to the mic.
There was interviewing this man in Harvey right now, and he said he's not religious, and he not worrying about no religious anything. He will take care of himself.
He's not religious?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad he's not religious, because we're not religious either. But I understand he says he's going to take care of himself. In other words, he doesn't believe in the Most High.
Right, exactly.
Right? That's what he's saying. I don't believe in the Most High. So we said we'll take a look at Joshua chapter 4. So, looking at the picture on the screen, brothers and sisters, we're focusing on the time of Noah right now. When Noah was around, Enoch and so forth, right? And we're focusing on that period. Then we're going to move from that period into, you see the statue with the little tower on top of his head? You notice the head of gold? There's a little tower on top. Now, we're going to focus on that little part, because remember, let me just give an overview. This statue that you see right now with a head of gold, silver, brass, and iron, that was from a dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. And Daniel interpreted this dream saying that the head of gold is the kingdom of Babylon. Then you have the silver part as being the Persian Empire, the Medes and the Persian Empire. That is over in Iran, Iraq area. Okay. Then you have the brass empire, which is the waist. That's the Grecian Empire. Okay. That's where you find the book of Maccabees covering that particular part. All right. So the Old Testament is basically the head of gold going into the silver. And then the Apocrypha covers the brass area, which is the Grecian Empire. And then you have the legs, left and right, of iron. That's where you have the book of Matthew going over to the book of Revelations under that empire. And then you have the feet of iron mixed with clay. That's where we are today. And not even that. We're in the toenails of that empire. Okay? That's the Roman Empire. Because remember, when you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, it speaks about Rome. So in the Apocrypha, with the book of Maccabees, you have a transition of the Grecian Empire into the Roman Empire, because Rome didn't conquer Jerusalem at that time. Israel or Judah had invited Rome to protect them from the Grecian Empire. They made a league with the Roman peoples, right? But then after the Romans came in, and Judah was a vassal empire under the priests, because the Maccabees were priests. Okay, this is the only time priests ruled as kings. That's another piece of prophecy. Okay, kings and priests. The Most High allowed the Levites to be as kings over Judah for a short period under the Maccabean Empire. It so happened that when the Maccabees' sons had died out, there was a daughter that remained. That daughter married the Edomites. And that was where Herod came in. And that's where Herod held power under the Roman Empire for a great time. Okay? And then Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans because we kept fighting against the Romans, and they got tired of it, and they destroyed Jerusalem. And then Rome continued to grow until we are where we are today. Then the Bible speaks in the book of Daniel that there's a kingdom that is partly strong and weak. It uses the term mixed, the miry clay mixed. And then we interpret that as being the Arabs or the Islamic Empire and the Roman Empire sharing power at this present day. That's why you find that there's this kind of mixture between the Western civilization and Islam. They're fighting each other, but at the same time they share one common goal, which is oil, the wealth of oil. Okay? The Western Empire depends on the Islamic Empire for resources of oil. Okay? And in the end, they're all going to fight each other. It's not going to stand. So, when we look at the head of gold, which is Babylon, people think it started with Nebuchadnezzar, but it didn't start there. It started with Babel. Now you think about Egypt and you say, well, Egypt was a world empire. That's true. It was an empire at the time. But it was under the head of gold. Because the head of gold is under Ham, the Hamitic peoples. Egypt came out from the sons of Ham. Babylon came out from the sons of Ham. Okay? So that head of gold, Egypt was the early part of the head of gold. We're going to go into that just a little bit. So let's go to Joshua chapter 4, verses 16. We're going to read down to verses 21. Go ahead and read.
And all the sons of men departed from the ways of Yah in those days, as they multiplied upon the face of the earth with sons and daughters. And they taught one another their evil practices. And they continued sinning against Yahuwah.
Read.
And every man made unto himself a god. And they robbed and plundered every man his neighbor, as well as his relative. And they corrupted the earth, and the earth was filled with violence. And their judges and rulers went to the daughters of men, and took their wives by force from their husbands, according to their choice. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air.
And what did they do?
And taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other.
Let's pause for a moment. You see why the Most High, in the book of Genesis, it just says he says all flesh has corrupted his way. All flesh has corrupted his way, right? And it didn't say her way, it says his way, because the males are the ones who carry the seed. So we find in the book of Joshua, it's talking about a mixture, the seed being mixed with another seed to create strange creatures. All tiger, liggers, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Donkey mixed with horses and creating mules and genetic splicing. So it says, men took other men's wives. It says, the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth and the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with the other. This is biblical prophecy. Not just back in those days, but what's occurring right now. You see? Let's continue on. In order
therewith to provoke Yah.
to do what?
To provoke Yah.
Read.
And Yah saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his its ways upon earth,
Mm-hmm.
all men and all animals. And Yah said, I will blot out man that I have created from the face of the earth, yea, from man to the birds of the air, together with cattle and beasts that are in the field, for I repent that I made them.
Mm-hmm.
And all men who walked in the ways of Yah died in those days, before Yah brought the evil upon man, which he had declared. For this was from Yah, that they should not see the evil which Yah spoke of concerning the sons of men.
So the Bible says that the righteous, it says, and all men who walked in the ways of the Most High, they went to sleep in those days. Because there's I forgot who it was, but there was one prophet, or it was a priest, that cried and says, oh my, that I had to live to see the destruction of the temple. It broke the heart. It broke the heart of these righteous men, that they had to experience the destruction of the temple. And so the Most High, during that time of the early days of this creation, he caused them not to see the destruction. He preserved them by putting them to sleep. A lot of times when you see certain people are all of a sudden they died and so forth, he's allowing them not to see the perils that's going to occur on this earth. But certain of them he's going to preserve to see it. Okay? What verse are you on?
Verse 21.
21. Read.
And Noah found grace in the sight of Yah,
Mm-hmm.
and Yah chose him and his children to raise up seed from them upon the face of the whole earth.
Notice it says to raise up seed, because among all the other seed, they were corrupt. And he wanted to start again. He wanted to start again with the seed of who? Noah, the seed of Noah, his sons. Let's go to Joshua chapter 5. You want to say something?
From what we just read, as far as what I understand, they forcefully took the women from the men and then took the animals and they mixed those two. That's what I gathered from that.
Well, I won't be surprised of anything.
Because then afterward he went and took he wanted to proceed with pure seed from Noah, because they mixed the two. Because I was reading that and it says they forcibly took the wives from the men, and then it further say that then the men took the animals from different species of animals and mixed them together.
Let me tell you something. If you had to do some research, you'll find that in our days today, bestiality is on a serious rise. Okay, it's on a serious rise, and there are certain countries and states, even within America, that turn a blind eye to a lot of these types of crimes. Normally, the only time that we hear about these things is if it's done in the public view. If a neighbor peeks out to the backyard and sees someone doing something funny, something strange, it's reported. Other than that, these things happen. A lot of these colleges, sororities, among both men and females, they practice these things as part of initiation process into whatever things that they're, alpha this and beta this or whatever the case may be. A lot of these things are practiced, okay? So let's go to Joshua chapter 5, verses 21 to 25. Joshua chapter 5, verses 21 to verses 25. Go ahead and read.
And all the sons of men who knew Yah died in that year,
Mm-hmm.
before Yah brought evil upon them. For Yah willed them to die, so as not to behold the evil that Yah would bring upon their brothers and relatives, as he had so declared to do.
Because they are a stumbling block. Abraham was a stumbling block too. Because Lot was over in Sodom, And when the Most High says, listen, because if the Most High didn't talk to Abraham because of the friendship, Abraham wouldn't have interfered. He wouldn't know that the Most High was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot would have been destroyed too. But because of the relationship, he revealed his secrets unto his prophets, his servants, the Bible says. And Abraham found out the plan of the Most High. He says, can I hold back what I'm going to do to this place? From Abraham, my friend. And he says, no. And when he told Abraham what he was going to do, Abraham says, well, will you destroy the righteous
with the wicked?
With the wicked? He says, no, it's not in your character to destroy the righteous with the wicked. I have the proof. I'm alive because you didn't destroy the righteous with the wicked. And Abraham says, what if so and so? And he started to negotiate from a certain number that he thought. You remember Lot had a bunch of servants, and he had a lot of animals, and his business was growing so well that it competed with Abraham's business. And Abraham had to make a choice because his business was clashing with with Lot's business, and they had to separate themselves. And Abraham remembered that there was a certain amount of people that was around at the time. But then he started to negotiate until a small number showed up. And it wasn't even that number. But because of the love that the Most High had for righteous Abraham, he took out just Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters. But not even the 3, it was only Lot. And not even Lot himself was free of contamination, because his daughters ended up practicing the things that they learned in Sodom and Gomorrah and their own father. And you think that an angel, your daughters have seen an angel. All you have to do is pray to the Most High, who sent an angel and said, Most High, can you send us a husband? They didn't even do that. They made their father drunk because they preserved the alcohol. You know, through storms, people save their alcohol, their liquor. Made their father drunk and performed these sexual acts of perversion. Let's go to back to Jasher.
Verse 22. In that time, Yah said to Noah and Methuselah, stand forth and proclaim to the sons of men all the words that I spoke to you in those days. Peradventure, they may turn from their evil ways, and I will then repent of the evil and will not bring it. And Noah and Methuselah stood forth and said in the ears of the sons of men all that Yah had spoken concerning them. But the sons of men would not hearken.
See that? They would not listen. Read.
Neither would they incline their ears to all their declarations.
You remember we were watching a news report about the meteorologist showing the report, and he's talking about we are not going to allow, or the storm is. He's speaking. He's using the words as if they're the ones who can declare where the storm is going to be and where it's not going to be. That's arrogance. That's a prideful heart. Let's read on. Verse 25.
And it was after this that Yah said to Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, on account of their evil deeds. And behold, I will destroy the earth. And do thou take unto thee gopher wood, and go.
Now you can stop there. So 25 says, the end of all flesh is come before me. So after the preaching, the teaching, everything that went out, the people will not listen. And even after these storms, the people are not going to listen. They're going to turn to FEMA for solutions. They're going to turn to the corrupt pastors who's going to say, oh, let's do this and that, and it's no big deal. The same pastors that are saying homosexuality is okay. Or they may even say that sodomite lifestyle is bad, but we don't have to keep the commandments of the Most High. Does that make any sense? When the commandments of the Most High declare that sodomy is as a sin. So how can you oppose sodomy, right? How can you say you're against the sodomite lifestyle and then turn around and say, well, we don't have to keep the commandments? It's one and the same. You don't keep the commandments, you're for homosexual lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Yeshua said that Sodom and Gomorrah will rise in judgment against this generation and condemn it, because they have the examples of Noah, they have the examples of Sodom, but even today they glory in their wickedness. They would not repent or change or anything, and they don't even believe that those things ever occurred before.
That's true.
And so because they don't believe that, they continue in their wickedness. So we see that everything that is prophesied is coming to pass.
When you look at some of the documentaries about Egypt, about the plagues of Egypt, they're saying, well, it was this volcano. It was all these different things that happened historically. This thing released this and poisoned the water and all kinds of different things. They're trying to find some historical record to prove scientifically that these things were just acts of nature. There was no God involved with these things. As a matter of fact, there were no such thing as Hebrews being in Egypt. And now scientists are finding out that, there were people, Hebrews, even in the Egyptian texts, that Hebrews were in Egypt and they were delivered. Let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 6. We're going to read verses 1 and 2. Just getting a little taste of the pre-flood and how the Most High was sick and tired because men were corrupt, and then he started to work with a certain lineage of people. He worked with Noah, then he took Noah's sons, and from out of the sons of Noah there were families on this earth, and then he chose from Shem only a particular seed, and the rest of the Shemitic children he pushed aside, and he kept working with a particular lineage, a seed, throughout history until we have the children of Israel. And after that, that was it. That's it. But within Abraham, we're going to see prophecies was declared, and we are the children of those prophecies. And this very day, the Most High is causing strange things to happen on this earth because of Israel. But the news will not report it. Joshua 6, verses 1 and 2. Go ahead and read.
At that time, after the death of Methuselah.
Now remember, the Bible says, Joshua says that he caused the righteous to go to sleep, but he preserved Noah, right? So Methuselah, he died. Read.
Yah said to Noah, go thou with thine household into the ark. Behold, I will gather to thee all the animals of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air. And they shall all come and surround the ark.
Now these are those species that were not corrupt. Because the Most High protected, just as he did with Noah, from being corrupt, he also protected some of the animals from being contaminated. Read.
And thou shalt go and sit thyself at the door of the ark, and all the beasts, the animals, and the fowls shall assemble and place themselves before thee. And such of them as shall come and crouch before thee shalt thou take and deliver into the hands of thy sons.
Let's stop for a moment. Notice how Joshua makes it very clear the humility, the selection of these animals was dependent upon the humility of these animals. He says, and such of them, not all of the animals, but such of them as shall come and crouch before you, kneel or bow before you, shall you take and deliver into the hands of your sons. Now, this is also prophetic about the other nations, because when you read the book of Enoch, it speaks about, there are parables that are written, and they're using these metaphors that people are depicted as animals, and the righteous also as sheep. Okay? So prophetically speaking, those that will make it into the ark of those nations have to do what? Bow, submit themselves. Prophetically speaking, they have to submit themselves by bowing to the chosen ones that's going to be saved. Y'all get that? Okay? So for the Gentiles who do not submit themselves in humility, they're not going to make it in. You can forget about them. Okay? Such of them, read it again.
Such of them as shall come and crouch before thee, shall thou take and deliver into the hands of thy sons,
Read.
who will bring them to the ark, and all that will stand before thee thou shalt leave.
All the proud ones will stand. All the proud ones will say, I ain't bowing to you people. There's no way I'm going to bow to you people. Who, you? You're the chosen? No. The chosen is what we drew in our magazines and our books and everything else that looks a certain way. Every time you look at some of these Christian magazines, they always depict the kingdom of heaven or Jesus as being a European over and over and over again. And it's further from the truth. Okay? So therefore, when the true sons of Israel are being revealed, it says, nah, forget it. There's no way I can go into that kingdom and serve people looking like you. All right? We may tolerate if it looks like a Chinese or if it looks like some other people. But you people? No. No. And they will try their best to disprove that we are Israel. They will. They will try. Very much so. And even amongst some of our own people, it's very hard for them to swallow that they are the chosen of Israel. Can any good thing come from Bethlehem? From Nazareth? All right, from the ghetto, because Nazareth was like a ghetto. Let's read. Was that it? So those that will not stand before you, you shall leave. All right. Now we're going to go to Genesis chapter 8, and we're going to read verses 15 to 17.
And Yah spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee, of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth.
Now they're going to do it themselves. Nobody's going to cause the animals to be mixed. They're going to be free to breed, multiply, and flourish on this earth. Very simple. Okay? So that's all we need. So now let's go a little bit further. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. So now after the flood, they came out of the flood. Now we start to have these families. Okay? And we're going to read just a little bit of Genesis chapter 10. So let's start at verses 1.
Okay.
Genesis 10 and verses 1.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiras. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rithhaph, and Togomar. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodadim.
And that's
Dodanim.
all the northern parts of, because remember, before the flood, all these lands were pretty much joined. They had rivers running through them, but they were pretty much joined together until the flood came, and then you had kind of a division, because remember, the earth had broken up and waters came. So the earth opened, separated itself, and the waters that was in the earth came up and made these massive seas that we have now. So now you have a division of continents, and the Europeans, those who occupied Europe, this is from the sons of Japheth. Okay? Verses 5.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands.
And that's where we have the first origin of the term Gentiles. It refers to the Europeans. Okay? Read on.
Everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Okay, so notice it says tongues, which is language, families, and what?
Nations.
Now it's speaking about the future, because remember, everyone had one language. One language. Okay? So eventually the peoples had what? Different languages. Okay? All right, so let's continue on.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan.
Now Mizraim is also known as Egypt today. All right? So it says the sons of Ham. Now we're going to focus on that just a little bit, because we're building to get the understanding about Abraham and Babel and those kind of different things, okay? Read on.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Rahma, and Sabteka, and the sons of Rama, Sheba, and Dedan.
Read.
And Cush begat Nimrod.
All right, so now we have Nimrod in the story. Nimrod, that's a very important piece in what we're talking about today, because if the Bible is talking about the kingdoms of this earth, head of gold and the feet, okay, as the head is the beginning and the feet is the end, they're all connected. It's a full circle. So when we start with Nimrod, he's the beginning of the empires of the world, because before it was just families, but Nimrod was the first one who set up an empire. All right? So Cush begat Nimrod. Remember, Nimrod is from the sons of Ham. All right? And Nimrod was also a person of dark complexion. When you read the Bible dictionary, it clearly says so in the book. Okay? Read on.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yah. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yah. And the beginning of his kingdom was...
The beginning of his kingdom. His kingdom was called what?
Babel.
Babel. Babel is also connected to Babylon.
Babel.
All right? The beginning of his kingdom was Babel. So Nebuchadnezzar was only an extension of that same empire. An extension. Read.
And Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar.
Read on.
Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh.
Nineveh.
And the city Rehoboth, and Calah. And Rezin between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city.
Read.
And Mizraim begat Ludim, and Ananim, and Lehabim, and Naphtuhim.
All these people were in one location. That was over in Iraq area. Okay? People were dispersed later on when the languages were confounded, but Nimrod was the one who started an empire right over in Babylon. Okay, read.
And Path Rushim and Kashluhim, out of whom came Philistine.
So the Philistines came out from these people. This is all the sons of Ham, the grandchildren of Ham. And Nimrod was the king of over the empires at this time. Read.
And Cash Torim. And Canaan begat Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth.
Let's skip on down to verses 19.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Zidon as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah.
So Sodom and Gomorrah was part of the Hamitic peoples, Hamites. Read.
And Admah and Zeboim, even unto Lasha.
Lasha, verse 20.
These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations.
All right, read on.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born.
So now it's talking about Shem, the father of the children of Eber. Eber is where we have the term Hebrew from. Okay? The Hebrews came from Shem. Read on.
The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Aphaxad, and Lud, and Aram.
Oh, now notice it says Asher. When you go back to verses 11, remember that Nimrod, out of that land went forth Asher and built Nineveh. You see that? So what I'm trying to show you, brothers and sisters, is that the people were all in the same vicinity at the time. As a matter of fact, Shem and Ham were in the same area, and this is where you have Abraham coming out from this family of Shem, living among Nimrod and them. Okay? So this is very important because you have Abraham placed at a point in time at the beginning of the head of gold. Okay, let's continue on.
And the children of Aram.
What verse are you on?
I'm sorry, verse 23.
23, okay. Read.
Uz and Hul and Getha and Mash. And Aphaxad begat Shalah, and Shalah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided.
That's important. In his days was the earth what?
Divided.
And that's Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verses 8 speaks about when the Most High was dividing up the nations. He already had part of his blueprint to bring up a people unto himself called Israel. So he already portioned off some land, some territory, and says, well, mankind is going to occupy all these places, but my special people is going to be over here. Okay, so the Bible is letting us know in the book of Genesis chapter 10 and 25 that the earth was going to be divided up for everyone, for the families. Okay, the Europeans is going to have their spot, Hamitic people is going to have their spot, Shemitic people are going to have their spot. All right, and Israel is going to be pulled out from all of them, and they're going to have their spot. Israel is not to go and have this other people's spot. All right. Read on.
And his brother's name was Joktan.
All right. That's all we need for that. Let's go down to verses 31.
These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations, in their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
After the flood. After the flood. Okay. So now let's go back to our slide here. So the first empire, which is the head of gold, is under, it begins actually with Nimrod. And let's prove that. We're going to now go to the book of Genesis chapter 11. And we're going to continue and see how Nimrod developed this first head of gold. Go ahead and read.
And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
One language and one speech. Okay? Read.
And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Now, again, remember what I said, that the beginning tells us about what?
The end.
The end. The same way that in the beginning you have the first empire rising up from the Hamitic people, the family of Ham, through Nimrod. The Bible says everyone had one language and one speech. One communication. Now, in the last days, today, we find, as the head is connected to the feet, we also have different languages, but guess what? With technology, we all can understand each other. Is that correct?
Yes.
Don't we have Google Translator or something like that? Is that correct?
Yes.
You have apps in your phone to speak to other people.
Yeah.
And not just also one speech through technology, but we have the New World Order trying to bring everyone together as one.
Yes.
But the Most High says that's not going to happen.
Yes.
Let's look at it and see what it says.
But the language that they want everyone to speak is English. It's the dominant
That's
language.
the universal language.
Yes.
Verses 4.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower.
Isn't that happening now? Don't you find when America built all these skyscrapers and towers, England doing the same thing, all of a sudden with the Islamic black gold called oil, you have Dubai rising up out of the sand, and Dubai is backfilling all the little islands that they have and creating these artificial islands and building cities. Is that correct? Yeah. These skyscrapers, now they're trying to build the tallest skyscraper in the world over there by the use of oil. Right? So the nations are trying to outbuild each other. Cities. The Most High don't care about cities. Read on.
Whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Continue on.
And Yah came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men build.
Every time the Most High comes down to take a look, he don't like what he's seeing. He don't like what he's seeing at all. Read.
And Yah said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
Before we had the technology, there was a separation in growth of economy. There was a separation in productivity. But because of the technology that we have, and the use of English as the common language spoken internationally, we find the Chinese in sync with the Europeans, and now Africa is in sync, and all these places are in sync, and people are not restrained from what they want to do. A new world order. But there is one seed that's going to arise from all of this that's going to mess up the whole plan. And the people are going to say, we got to stamp them out, because these people are the only people that messes up with our plan. Their existence is the stumbling block for our plans. We're going to see that with Abraham at the very beginning of the history of the empires of the world. And we're going to understand why the Most High is causing these floods, earthquakes, and all these different things. It's for our sake.
Amen. All praises be
If you
to
don't
our
understand this, and remember, he caused the righteous to go to sleep. So if some of our people are taken up by hurricanes, he's causing the righteous to what?
Sleep.
Go to sleep. Because what's going to happen after this is going to be worse. Worse. Read.
Verse 7.
Go
to, let us go down, and there confound their language.
He's going to mess up the technological grid. The solar flares are coming. It's going to start messing up that communication. The satellites is not going to work with each other. Go ahead and read.
That they may not understand one another's speech.
Cell phone is not working. Let's get Fire Chat app. The apps is not going to work. Okay. Read.
So Yah scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and they left off to build a city. Therefore is the name of it called Babel or Babel, because Yah did there confound the language of all the earth,
Uh-huh.
and from thence did Yah scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
Because he says to be fruitful, to subdue the earth, to spread out. Don't be lumped up in one place called a city. Spread out. You don't see all the animals staying in one spot. Right? Even farming should not be in one spot all the time. You got to spread out.
Yeah.
Sheep have to move around. But instead they got everything penned up. People is in cubes, the animals is in cubes.
Mm-hmm.
People getting sick in those cubes, the animals getting sick in the cubes, in the pens.
Yes.
Stress killing people out, so now people have to take drugs so they won't be stressed out in their little cubes. And the animals are stressed out and they need medicines so that they can survive in their little cubes.
Yeah.
And the Most High says,
Drug
nah,
them
that's
out.
not working.
Yeah. They even arresting the bees too.
Yeah, trucking the bees to different farms and forcing them to come back on these trucks. That's why you don't see bees buzzing around like before, because they force the bees to operate to go into these trucks. Do the research. Don't take my word for it. Let's read verses 10, because this is where we're building into Abraham. Okay? Verses 10.
Verses 10. These are the generations of Shem.
Uh-huh.
Shem was 100 years old and begat Aphaxad 2 years after the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And Shem lived after he begat Aphaxad 500 years and begat sons and daughters. And Aphaxad lived 35 years and begat Salah.
Mm-hmm.
And Aphaxad lived after he begat Salah 403 years and begat sons and daughters.
Now remember, these people lived a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible also says that my people's days will be as what?
The days of a tree.
Let's prove that real quick. I'm just showing you how there's a reversal. As we move from one part of the circle, it's going to come back to where people is going to live as long as trees. 65 and what? 22. Let's start at verses 20.
Okay.
19.
All right. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people.
My people, not the whole world.
And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her,
Uh-huh.
nor the voice of crying.
No, the voice of crying.
There shall be no more thence an infant of days,
So no more people going to be just like children, babies. Read.
nor an old man that have not filled his days.
Mm-hmm.
For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed.
So a baby will be 100 years old. You see, he's starting to reverse things now. Right? Verses 21.
And they shall build houses and inhabit them.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit thereof.
Read.
The fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree,
For as the days of a tree, 500, 600, 700 years, 800 years,
1,000
900
years
years. The days of a tree, read.
are the days of my people.
The days of a tree are the days of my people. Read.
And mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands.
Long enjoy the work. The work of their hands is the planting and the food and everything else.
Clothing and all of that.
What we work for,
Yes.
we're going to be able to enjoy it for a long time.
Yes.
You all see that? So
Amen.
let's go back to Genesis
All praise be
11
to our King.
and verses 14 now.
And Shelah lived 30 years and begat Eber.
That's where we have the term Hebrews from. Read.
And Shelah lived after he begat Eber 403 years and begat sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And Eber lived 430 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters.
Let's skip on down to verses 22.
And Serug lived 30 years and begat Nahor.
So now what we're looking at is that there's the diminishing of age. People used to live a long time, and gradually they started to lose longevity. The same way that you have this happening from high up in age, diminishing down to a lower end, it's going to reverse and come back from a low end back to a high end.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have to go back to the book of Genesis. It's speaking about the end. All right?
Yes.
Continue on.
And Serug lived after he begat Nahor 200 years and begat sons and daughters.
Uh-huh.
And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah.
Mm-hmm.
And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters.
Read.
And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
So now he begot these three children, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Okay? This is where we're going to move into the story of Abraham just a little bit. Read.
Now these are the generations of Terah.
Mm-hmm.
Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
Now this is important because Ur is right in the same vicinity that Nimrod had his kingdom. So Abraham lived in the same vicinity and was contemporary with Nimrod. Okay, read on.
And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Ishka.
All right, let's leave it there. Now we're going to leave it there for now, and we're going to continue our story. But before we do that, I have on the bottom of the screen a little map. And on the map here, on the bottom of the screen, you'll see circled at the bottom, it says Babylonia. Hope y'all can see that. Babylonia. Right at the bottom of where it says Babylonia, it says Ur. Right on the bottom over here, Ur. Okay? Mm-hmm. You see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's where you can see Babylon is in the north, the northwest, and Ur is in the southeast. You see it? All of that was a territory that Nimrod had ruled. Okay? He ruled all the way up to parts of Mesopotamia. But Abraham left Ur and traveled over to where it says Syria. Over here, right below Turkey. And from there, he moved down into the land of Canaan. Okay? Now that's another class. But let's go to Joshua chapter 7. And we'll pick it up at verses 23. Because now we're going to get a little bit about Abraham and his dealing with Nimrod. That's very important. So Joshua chapter 7. So in Joshua chapter 7, verses 1, it speaks about the sons of Noah, Japheth, Ham, and Shem, and those that were born after the flood. So we don't need to go over that. Again, let's skip on down to verses 20 what? 23.
And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a wife in those days in his old age.
Mm-hmm.
And she bare a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying, At that time the sons of men again began to rebel and transgress against Yah. And the child grew up, and his father loved him exceedingly, for he was the son of his old age.
Read on.
And the garments of skin which Yah made for Adam and his wife, when they went out of the garden, were given to Cush. For after the death of Adam and his wife, the garments were given to Enoch, the son of Jared.
Mm-hmm.
And when Enoch was taken up to Yah, he gave them to Methuselah his son.
Read.
And at the death of Methuselah, Noah took them and brought them to the ark.
Mm-hmm.
And they were with him until he went out of the ark. And in their going out, Ham stole those garments from Noah his father, and he took them and hid them from his brothers. And when Ham begat his firstborn Cush, he gave them the garments in secret, and they were with Cush many days.
Now I wonder when it speaks about Ham seeing his father naked, if maybe Noah had those garments over him. I wonder. And Ham just grabbed those garments off because he wanted it because his father was drunk and ran off with them. And then therefore the curse was pronounced upon Canaan because of Ham stealing those garments. Is that a possibility? Let's put that on the table just for a moment, okay? Let's continue on.
Yes. Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And Cush also concealed them from his sons and brothers. And when Cush had begotten Nimrod, he gave him those garments through his love for him. And Nimrod grew up, and when he was 20 years old, he put on those garments.
Now that's the garments that the Most High made himself. So that had something special about it. Read.
And Nimrod became strong when he put on the garments.
This is where we have the origin of the superheroes, right? You put on something and all of a sudden you have these spectacular powers. Read.
And Yah gave him might and strength, and he was a mighty hunter in the earth. Yea, he was a mighty hunter in the field. And he hunted the animals, and he built altars, and he offered upon them the animals before Yah.
So the Most High had showed kindness to Nimrod because at the time Nimrod had respected the Most High. But his heart changed.
Like Saul.
His heart changed, okay? Read on.
And Nimrod strengthened himself, and he rose up from amongst his brethren, and he fought the battles of his brethren against all their enemies round about. And Yah delivered all the enemies of his brethren in his hands. And Yah prospered him from time to time in his battles, and he reigned upon the earth.
So this is the rise of the head of gold that you're looking at. It's very important to understand this basic history, the rise of the head of gold. Read.
Therefore it became current in those days when a man unhearsed forth those that he had trained up for battle, he would say to them, like God did to Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter in the earth, and who succeeded in the battles that prevail against his brethren, that he delivered them from the hands of their enemies. So may Yah strengthen us and deliver us this day.
Before Iraq was invaded, Saddam Hussein had a mural, or not a mural, he had a picture, a statue of, I think it's both a mural and also a statue of, he was holding the hand of Nimrod. Nimrod was on one side and his hand was the other side. In other words, making a connection to the past as being a power in the earth. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to give any person that I want to know where it was that God made the skins for Adam and Eve is in Genesis 3:21.
Genesis 3 and 21.
Yes, so that they would know.
As a reference.
Yes, a reference.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And when the invasion took place in Iraq, America, the first place that they went was to secure the secrets of Nebuchadnezzar. They went and got all the artifacts and hid those things. Okay? The first place that the people tried to secure when Egypt was overthrown was the historical museums, where all the artifacts were well protected. There's something about the ancient artifacts that people look to for power. The same way that we find when ISIS started to destroy a lot of the statues over in Syria, They went over there and tried to rebuild the temple of Baal. Remember? One of the reasons why America went into Iraq was Afghanistan was not because of bin Laden, really. When you go back and you check the archives, the Taliban was destroying a lot of Buddhist statues, some of those ancient important artifacts for the Western powers. And the people sent troops in there for that reason. Let's continue on with Jasher. Verses 34.
And when Nimrod was 40 years old, at that time there was a war between his brethren and the children of Japheth, so that they were in power of their enemies. And Nimrod went forth at that time, and he assembled all the sons of Cush and their families, about 460 men, and he hired also from some of his friends and acquaintances about 80 men, and he gave them their hire. And he went with them to battle. And when he was on the road, Nimrod strengthened the hearts of the people that went with him. And he said to them, do not fear, neither be alarmed, for all our enemies will be delivered into our hands, and you may do with them as you please. And all the men that went were about 500, and they fought against their enemies, and they destroyed them and subdued them. And Nimrod placed standing officers over them in their respective places. And he took some of their children as security. And they were all servants to Nimrod and to his brethren.
Ransom. Read.
And Nimrod and all the people that were with him turned homeward. And when Nimrod had joyfully returned from battle after having conquered his enemies, all his brethren, together with those who knew him before, assembled to make him king over them.
So now we have the king over the world at that time, which was Nimrod. You see the progression? This is the beginning of the head of gold. That's why you find a little point on top. That's why when you look at Diana of Ephesus, on top of her head, there's a little tower.
Yes.
On top of her head. She has like many breasts because she's a mother who feeds the world. But on top of her head shows you the beginning of the power. It starts with Babel. Okay? Read on.
And they placed the regal crown upon his head.
Read.
And he set over his subjects and people, princes, judges, and rulers, as in the custom among kings. And he placed Terah, the son of Nahor, the prince of his host, and he dignified him and elevated him above all his princes.
That's the same Terah that we read in Genesis chapter 11. And Nahor in Genesis chapter 11. Okay, read on.
And whilst he was reigning according to his heart's desire, after having conquered all his enemies around, he advised with his counselors to build a city for his palace, and they did so. And they found a large valley opposite to the east, and they built him a large and extensive city. And Nimrod called the name of the city that he built Shinar. For Yah had vehemently shaken his enemies and destroyed them.
Read.
And Nimrod dwelt in Shinar, and he reigned securely, and he fought with his enemies, and he subdued them, and he prospered in all his battles, and his kingdom became very great. And all nations and tongues heard of his fame, and they gathered themselves to him, and they bowed down to the earth, and they brought him offerings, and he became their lord and king. And they all dwelt with him in the city of Shinar. And Nimrod reigned in the earth over all the sons of Noah.
Over all the sons of Noah. This is where we have the first empire, head of gold. Read.
And they were all under his power and counsel.
Read.
And all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. But Nimrod did not go in the ways of the Lord.
See that? So when he got this power, he amassed this power. Now his heart was lifted up. Just like Nebuchadnezzar, his heart was lifted up. Okay, read on.
And he was more wicked than all the men that were before him, from the days of the flood until those days. And he made gods of wood and stone, and he bowed down to them, and he rebelled against Yah, and taught all his subjects and all the people of the earth his wicked ways. And Mardon his son was more wicked than his father.
So Nimrod, the word Nimrod means to rebel. His name is Marad, or to rebel. So his name was actually describing his action, his character, a rebellious one who turned against the Most High. Let's read on.
And every one that heard of the acts of Mardon, the son of Nimrod, would say concerning him, from the wicked goeth forth wickedness.
From the wicked go forth what?
Wickedness.
Read.
Therefore it became a proverb in the whole earth, saying, from the wicked goeth forth wickedness. And it was current in the words of men from that time to this.
Read on.
And Terah the son of Nahor, prince of Nimrod's host, was in those days very great in the sight of the king and his subjects, and the king and princes loved him, and they elevated him very high.
So that's Abraham's father, an officer in Nimrod's court. Read on.
And Terah took a wife, and her name was Amthelo, the daughter of Corribo. And the wife of Terah conceived and bare him a son in those days.
Read.
Terah was 70 years old when he begat him, and Terah called the name of his son that was born to him Abram, because the king had raised him in those days and dignified him above all princes that were with him.
You see that? Now, before we continue on, because we're going to go into the prophecy with Abraham now, let's take a look at something here. So again, this is a map on the screen, and you can see right over here, which is Chaldea, Babylon slightly to the northwest. So you can see pretty much where the kingdoms of the earth, where they are now, and how things progressed over a period of time. But everybody was in one area, and then they moved out from there with the scattering of the languages, and then they just moved into the north and other places of the earth. Okay? All right, here's another picture I want to share with you all. This is a fragment. This is a priest guiding a sacrificial bull. This is a fragment of a mural painting from the palace of Zimri Lim Mari, which is in Iraq. This is a fragment from a mural that was found in Iraq. As an example to show you that the people had color, would you say this is a European Caucasian? No. Yes or no?
No.
So you can see clearly this is Iraq. Does that look like a Caucasian to you?
No.
But when you open up the Bible and they put the pictures in the Bible, you see Caucasian people. Right? That dude looked like Jerome. Or Tyrone. All right. Let's look at another example. Another example right here. This is a Syrian Amorite. A Syrian Amorite. Bearded. He has a beard too. Tribute bearer in a procession with gifts to the Egyptian palace, including horses and alabaster vessels. A nude child is perched on his father's shoulder. That's right to the top. Child is right over here. Okay. You see the father is over here. You can see the foot right over here at the bottom. And the clothing. Okay. Nude child is perched on his father's shoulder. He is most likely an Amorite chief's son. 18th dynasty. 1400 before Christ. So you can see the people that lived in that part of the world were people of what? Color.
Chocolate people.
The artifacts do not lie. That's history. And to show you that there's color, look at the thing that the guy with the beard is holding in his hand. that's a lighter complexion or in color than his skin. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right here. Look at the horse has his own color. It goes to show that the people had color. That's
Sweet
just a few
chocolate.
examples. So now I want to go to Genesis chapter 3 for a moment before we continue with Abraham. Genesis chapter 3 verses 14 to 15. We have this unique prophecy, and it could be taken many different ways, but I want to put something different on a table for us to look at, okay? Just for a moment, in connection to what we're reading. Genesis 3, 14 and 15. Go ahead and read.
And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the serpent, Behold, thou hast done this. Thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
So that's the serpent. The curse is fallen upon the serpent. Read.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman,
There'll be war between you, the serpent, and also the woman. Read.
and between thy seed and her seed.
So Satan is going to have people that will be his children. And it's not speaking about, well, the serpent slept with Eve and all kinds of craziness like that. Okay, but the works is manifest, okay? Because even Jacob had wicked children too. So there'll be a war between the righteous and the unrighteous. Read.
It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
The seed, it shall bruise your head, and you will bruise his heel. So you got the head and also the heel. That's interesting. Head and heel. The past tense and the future. The past and the future. The past
and the feet.
and the future. The beginning and the end.
Yes.
Now we're going to go to Genesis 25 and verses 21 and 26. Just putting some on the table for us to look at. 21, read.
And Isaac entreated Yah for his wife, because she was barren. And Yah was entreated of him, and Rivkah his wife conceived.
Read.
And the children struggled together within her.
So there's a war inside her belly.
And she said, If it be so, why am I thus?
If I'm having these problems, why is these things happening? I need to know the reason. Read.
And she went to inquire of Yah. And Yah said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
So the Most High was her gynecologist. Went to her.
And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
No, joined together
Separated.
as one big family.
Separated from
It says
thy
2
bowels.
nations, 2 separate people, and they will be separated. 2 different types of people, 2 manner, 2 characteristics, 2 different things is happening here. So the whole idea of people being one was not the idea of the Most High. From the very beginning, he separated people. He wanted them to be separate among themselves. The only time they're supposed to come together is to give praise unto him. That's about it. Read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
So the elder will serve the younger. The head, the first one that comes out, will have to serve the feet. Right?
Correct.
The head will have to serve the feet. The last kingdom. The elder will serve the younger. Is that correct?
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
Read.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob.
So Jacob held on to Esau's heel. Now you notice it mentions heel in this, right?
Yep.
Genesis 3 talked about head and heel. Bruising head and heel. Okay?
Yes.
Read on.
And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Interesting. So that's all we need from that. So now let us go into 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. We're going to read from verses 1. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verses 1. We're just putting something on the table for us to consider.
And he said unto me,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood,
Mm-hmm.
or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise
So the
were
Most High
laid.
is bringing back Ezra to see everything before anything was made, to remind Ezra of the history that's going to happen. It's already in stone. You can't change it. The things that is happening right now is already set.
Yes,
You can't change it.
that's
Read.
Before the fair flowers were seen,
Mhm.
or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together,
Uh-huh.
or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named,
Mm-hmm.
or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot,
Read.
and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned,
Mm-hmm.
before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone,
Mm-hmm.
and through none other. By me also they shall be ended.
By what?
By me also they shall be ended.
By the CERN machine.
Nope,
By HARP.
nope,
By Bill Gates.
no, definitely not.
Read.
By me also they shall be ended,
Mm-hmm.
and by none other.
So Ezra the priest was asking a question. Verse 7. Let's see what he's saying.
Then answered I and said,
Mm-hmm.
what shall be the parting asunder of the times?
So when is one time going to end? All of this stuff is going to come to an end, and it'll be a beginning. Read.
Or when shall be the end of the first,
Mm-hmm.
and the beginning of it that followeth?
This is why we're going through this different study today, so we'll understand the end times by going back to the beginning. Read.
And he said unto me,
Mm-hmm.
from Abraham.
From when?
From Abraham.
Notice it starts with Abraham, not even with Noah, but it starts with Abraham, because there we're going to find a certain prophecy that's very important. Read.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac,
Mm-hmm.
when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Oh. So now he's talking about the holding of the heel part again. That's significant.
Mhm.
Okay, read on.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Esau is the end, but Yaakov is the beginning of it that follows after the world has ended. It'll be turned over to Jacob, to the
That's
12
right.
tribes of Israel.
Oh, yes.
Verses 10.
Hallelujah.
Now, pay attention. Verses 10 is very important. He's talking about the end of the world and talking about holding on to heels and all kinds of stuff. But look at verses 10. Read.
The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand.
What does that mean? The hand of man is between the heel and the what? The hand.
And the hand.
Between the heel and the hand. That's kind of interesting, right?
Yes.
You have the head, you have the foot or the feet, but it also mentions that the hand of man is between the heel and the hand. How if you look at the hand, it reaches up to where?
The shoulder.
The shoulder. So between that, you have the hand of man. We'll look at that shortly. Read.
Other question, Ezra, asked thou not.
Everything else, don't ask any questions. Now let's look at something here with the statue. Now this statue has a head and it has a heel. Between that, look at where the head of gold ends? It ends right by the neck area, right? The shoulder, because remember Daniel says the shoulder is of silver. The shoulder is where the hand or the arm is connected, mishpachah. From that point until until the foot or the heel is where men are going to what? Everything, man is going to be in between all that.
Yeah, they're going to be the one building and doing all this.
Men will have the opportunity to run things between that point in time.
Yes.
But after the heel is where what? The Most High is going to deal. The Messiah himself is going to be the head.
Yes.
Is going to take over
The
everything. Just keep that on the side, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to go into the prophecy of Abraham. That Abraham, you know, the Bible talks about the Messiah as being the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
He's the Lion of the tribe of Judah. That lion is very important because before the Messiah comes forth, he uses a particular man to be a lion, and that's Abraham. Let's go to Joshua chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua chapter 8. We're going to look at the prophecy, verses 1.
And it was in the night that Abram was born, that all the servants of Terah and all the wise men of Nimrod and his conjurers.
Now it says, it was in the night that Abraham was born, and that's prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you say mm-hmm?
Because Yeshua was born in the night.
Yeshua was born when?
In the night.
It was born when?
In the night.
The Messiah was born in the night.
Yes.
That's when the angels came and they saw the star, came and settled where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the night also speaks about the end of the... When did the Messiah said he's going to come back as a thief in the...
Night.
So it was night that Abraham was born. Read.
Mm-hmm. And all the wise men...
Now read it again.
Okay. And it was in the night that Abram was born, that all the servants of Terah and all the wise men of Nimrod and his conjurers came and ate and drank in the house of Terah, and they rejoiced with him on that night.
Now remember, when Herod heard about the star, the wise men was there with him, right? And he also called up the men to explain. The wise man came and says, we saw the star in the east, and the wise man was there with him. He called the other wise men, which are the priests and so forth, to explain to him certain things. We have a very similar story. And the Bible says that Herod was scared. And that's the reason why he wanted to kill the Messiah. Let us see if we find something right at the beginning, before this happened with the Messiah, that it was recorded in the book of Joshua, the history of the world, and about a particular people bringing fear upon all the other nations. So they rejoiced with him that night. Okay.
And when all the wise men and conjurers went out from the house of Terah, they lifted up their eyes toward heaven that night to look at the stars.
Looking at where?
The stars.
Why do you think we read the news, we hear about CERN, we hear about solar flares, we hear about asteroids, where people are concerned about the eclipses, the stars? Let's read on. So the wise men looked at the stars and they saw, continue on.
I'm going to read 2 again. And when all the wise men and conjurers went out from the house of Terah, they lifted up their eyes toward heaven that night to look at the stars. And they saw, and behold, one very large star came from the east and ran in the heavens. And he swallowed up the 4 stars from the 4 sides of the heavens.
One star destroying the 4 parts. That's important. Read on.
And all the wise men of the king and his conjurers were astonished at the sight. And the sages understood this matter, and they knew its important.
They knew its import. They knew that this was important.
Yes.
They knew that this was something significant. Read.
And they said to each other,
Mm-hmm.
this only betokens the child that had been born to Terah this night.
So they were able to discern and says, well, wait a minute. We're here celebrating with Terah because of his child Abram being born. But all of a sudden we went outside to have a drink. We looked up in the sky and we seen this huge star. And we see the star eating up these other 4 stars. And you know what? We don't like what we've seen from this. So we discern that this pertains to Abraham being born in this night. Yes, Elder.
Yes, well, when I say, yeah, I remember when Moses with the serpents, you know, when the rod became serpents, right?
Mm-hmm.
It swallows the other serpents out from the magician.
Mm-hmm.
So that I just remember the power that God, the Elohim, show among the heathen that happening.
That one snake
Follow the swallow.
is going to take over the other snakes that was placed.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
One power is going to take over the other powers.
Amen.
All right. So when they saw this happen at night, read on, continue. Who
will grow up and be fruitful and multiply
and do what?
And possess all the earth.
Possess all of the earth. Read.
He and his children forever.
He and his children for a short time.
Forever.
Forever. So now at the beginning of the head of gold, the pinnacle, it says what? This child that is born in this house is going to possess the whole entire earth, not just he alone, but also his children forever. Read.
And he and his seed will slay great kings and inherit their lands.
Now you all starting to see the connection with Esau and all these different things, the head, the heel, and what the Bible is trying to show us. Right at the beginning, there's a special seed was established from the beginning that will take over the entire earth. Read on.
And the wise men and conjurers went home that night.
Mm-hmm.
And in the morning, all these wise men and conjurers rose up early and assembled in an appointed house.
They build themselves a senate, Congress. Read.
And they spoke and said to each other, Behold, the sight that we saw last night is hidden from the king.
The king doesn't know what's happening.
It has not been made known to him.
Read.
And should this thing get known to the king in the latter days.
In the what?
In the latter days.
See, the latter days is very important. Read.
He will say to us, Why have you concealed this matter from me? And then we shall all suffer death. Therefore now let us go and tell the king the sight which we saw and the interpretation thereof, and we shall then remain clear.
Read.
And they did so, and they all went to the king and bowed down to him to the ground. And they said, May the king live, may the king live.
Read.
We heard that a son was born to Terah, the son of Nahor, the prince of thy host. And we yesternight came to his house, and we ate and drank and rejoiced with him that night. And when thy servants went out from the house of Terah to go to our respective homes to abide there for the night, we lifted up our eyes to heaven, and we saw a great star coming from the east, and the same star ran with great speed and swallowed up 4 great stars from the 4 sides of the heavens. And thy servants were astonished at the sight which we saw, and were greatly terrified. And we made our judgment upon the sight, and knew by our wisdom the proper interpretation thereof, that this thing applied to the child that is born to Terah, who will grow up and multiply greatly, and become powerful, and kill all the kings of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and inherit all their lands,
Mm-hmm.
he and his seed forever.
Mm-hmm.
And now, our Lord and King, behold, we have truly acquainted thee with what we have seen concerning this child.
Read.
If it seem good to the king to give his father value for this child, we will slay him before he shall grow up and increase in the land, and his evil increase against us, that we and our children perish through his evil.
So they don't understand that it's not going to happen right away. They don't understand this. In their mind, they're thinking we got to stamp this seed out because the lineage. Because normally a king will pass the power on to his son, thereby keeping his kingdom forever, right? So they're saying if we don't stamp this seed out now, the future is going to be in jeopardy. So let's give Terah, your officer, some money. Let's pay him off. We'll take the child and we'll kill him. Read on.
The same thing they did with, that's
The-
what what's his name was concerned about too. You know, when Yeshua was born.
Yeshua was also ransom for money.
Yeah, and he was afraid that he was going to take over the kingdom.
That's right. That's
So he
right.
wanted to get rid of him right away.
Let's pay the money. Let's get Judas to come in.
Right.
We'll give Judas the money. Judas will turn him over.
Mhm.
We'll kill him and we'll get rid of the problem.
Yeah, but Herod at his birth, the reason why he killed all the children from 2 years old and under is because he wanted to stamp it out before it grew up.
And Pilate's wife said she had a terrible dream, a nightmare. She says,
Mhm.
don't mess with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy you're messing with right now, stay out of it. Wash your hands. So what did Pilate do? He washed his hands and turned around and says, the crowd, you make the choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Read on.
Mm-hmm. And the king heard their words,
Mhm.
and they seemed good in his sight. And he sent and called for Terah, and Terah came before the king.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said to Terah, I have been told that a son was yesternight born to thee, and after this manner was observed in the heavens at his birth.
Mm-hmm.
And now therefore give me the child, that we may slay him before his evil springs up against us. And I will give thee for his value
Uh-huh.
thine house full of silver and gold.
Notice it said silver first.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it connects back to who? The Messiah.
Messiah.
The silver.
Mhm.
Read on.
And Terah answered the king and said to him, My lord and king, I have heard thy words, and thy servant shall do all that his king desireth.
Remember what the leadership, Caiaphas and the rest did? They says it's best for us to turn him over than the whole nation do
Perish.
what? Perish. Than the whole nation perish.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Book of John, chapter what? 11?
Chapter 11.
Verses what? 45 or something like that?
Mhm.
Oh, 50,
50,
54
3 or 54.
somewhere around there. It's best that we turn this man over, otherwise the whole nation will perish. Verses 18.
Mm-hmm. But my lord and king, I will tell thee what happened to me yesternight,
Mm-hmm.
that I may see what advice the king will give his servant, and then I will answer the king upon what he has just spoken.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said, Speak. And Terah said to the king, A young son of Mored came to me yesternight, saying, Give unto me the great and beautiful horse that the king gave thee,
Mm-hmm.
and I will give thee silver and gold and straw and provender for its value. And I said to him, Wait till I see the king concerning thy words. And behold, whatever the king saith, that will I do.
Mm-hmm.
And now, my lord and king, behold, I have made this thing known to thee, and the advice which my king will give unto his servant, that will I follow. And the king heard the words of Terah, and his anger was kindled, and he considered him in the light of a fool.
Trying to say you calling me a fool? Read on.
And the king answered Terah, and he said to him, Art thou so silly, ignorant, or deficient in understanding, to do this thing, to give thy beautiful horse for silver and gold, or even for straw and provender?
Mm-hmm.
Art thou so short of silver and gold that thou shouldest do this thing? Because thou canst not obtain straw and provender to feed thy horse?
Mm-hmm.
And what is silver and gold to thee, or straw and provender, that thou shouldest give away that fine horse which I gave thee, like which there is none to be had on the whole earth?
All right, pause for a second. You had a comment?
Yeah, I got something that just come to my mind.
All right.
This is the riddle that he gave to the king. You could remember that when David went to take Bathsheba or something like that, and then the prophet came up with him with the same system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly
A riddle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what's going on right now.
Okay, great. Great observation. Let's continue on.
And the king left off speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and Terah answered the king, saying, Like unto this has the king spoken to his servant.
Mm-hmm.
I beseech thee, my lord and king, what is this which thou didst say unto me, saying, Give thy son that we may slay him, and I will give thee silver and gold for his value? What shall I do with silver and gold after the death of my son?
Mm-hmm.
Who shall inherit me? Surely then at my death the silver and gold will return to my king who gave it.
See that? Read.
And when the king heard the words of Terah and the parable which he brought concerning the king, it grieved him greatly, and he was vexed at this thing, and his anger burnt within him.
This is Nimrod now, okay? Read.
And Terah saw that the anger of the king was kindled against him, and he answered the king, saying, All that I have is in the king's power.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the king desireth to do to his servant, that let him do. Yea, even my son, he is in the king's power, without value in exchange, he and his 2 brothers that are older than he.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said to Terah, No, but I will purchase thy younger son for a price.
So he was trying to suggest to use the others, use myself and use the others, but leave Abram alone, right? Real quick.
That again, just like it's not Lot, and when he say, "I give my daughters," or "I got my daughter," could give you instead.
Oh, you're talking about Lot in Sodom?
Yeah.
Lot in Sodom when the men were knocking on the door, and he says, well, you can take any of my children instead of these men. Okay. All right, let's continue because we got some more reading to do. We'll try to wrap it up as quick as we can, but let's continue on.
And Terah answered the king, saying, I beseech thee, my lord and king, to let thy servant speak a word before thee.
Uh-huh.
And let the king hear the word of his servant. And Terah said, Let my king give me 3 days' time till I consider this matter within myself.
Again, the 3 is significant because it speaks of life. Okay, read on.
And consult with my family concerning the words of my king. And he pressed the king greatly to agree to this.
Read.
And the king hearkened to Terah. And he did so, and he gave him 3 days' time. And Terah went out from the king's presence. And he came home to his family, and spoke to them all the words of the king. And the people were greatly afraid. And it was in the 3rd day that the king sent to Terah, saying, Send me thy son for a price, as I spoke to thee. And shouldest thou not do this, I will send and slay all thou hast in thine house, so that thou shalt not even have a dog remaining.
Imagine that, huh? Prophetic. Read.
And Terah hastened, as the thing was urgent from the king. And he took a child from one of his servants, which his handmaiden had borne to him that day. And Terah brought the child to the king, and received value for him. And the Lord was with Terah in this matter, that Nimrod might not cause Abram's death. And the king took the child from Terah, and with all his might dashed his head to the ground. For he thought it had been Abram. And this was concealed from him from that day. And it was forgotten by the king, as it was the will of providence not to suffer Abram's death.
Of what? providence. And providence that I have on the screen is in a capital P. Means the Most High. Continue on.
And Terah took Abram his son secretly, together with his mother and nurse, and he concealed them in a cave, and he brought them their provisions monthly. And Yah was with Abram in the cave, and he grew up, and Abram was in the cave 10 years. And the king and his princes, soothsayers and sages, thought that the king had killed Abram.
All right. Let's go to chapter 9. We'll read from verse 6. All right. We'll stay in Joshua, and then we'll try our best to close up shortly. Joshua chapter 9, we'll pick it up at verses 6. 9 and verses 6.
And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years.
Let's pick it up at 5. Sorry, 5.
And when Abram came out from the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem, and he remained with them to learn the instructions of Yah and his ways. And no man knew where Abram was. And Abram served Noah and Shem his son for a long time.
So this prophetic child reconnected with the past, because his life has a lot to do with the future. Verses 6.
And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years. And Abram knew Yah from 3 years old. And he went in the ways of Yah until the day of his death.
3 years old again. 3 years old. 3 again. Read.
As Noah and his son Shem had taught him, and all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against Yah, and they rebelled against him, and they served other gods, and they forgot Yah who had created them in the earth, and the inhabitants of the earth made unto themselves at that time every man his god, gods of wood and stone, which could neither speak, hear, nor deliver, and the sons of men served them, and they became their gods.
All right, continue on.
And the king and all his servants and Terah with all his household were then the first of those that served gods of wood and stone.
See that? Now let's look at the heart of Abraham. Let's continue.
And Terah had 12 gods.
He had how many gods?
12 gods.
That's interesting. 12. Read.
Of large size, made of wood and stone, after the 12 months of the year.
Interesting.
And he served each one monthly. And every month Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offering to his gods. Thus this Terah all the days.
So back in those days, we can see how idolatry was rampant all over the place. And Terah wasn't connected to Shem and connected to Noah. He was connected to Nimrod. But at the same time, he loved his family, but he was so much involved with Nimrod that he couldn't break away from his idolatry. All right? And you notice to have a god for each month. What do we have in the calendar? A god for each month.
Same thing today.
Verses 9.
And all that generation were wicked in the sight of Yah, and they thus made every man his god. But they forsook Yah who had created them.
It's the same thing that is happening today. Read.
And there was not a man found in those days in the whole earth who knew Yah, for they served each man his own god, except Noah and his household. And all those who were under his counsel knew Yah in those days.
Notice the word counsel. That's the laws, statutes, and commandments. Verses 11.
And Abram, the son of Terah, was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah, and no man knew it, and Yah was with him.
Read on.
And Yah gave Abram an understanding heart, and he knew all the works of that generation were vain.
That's the difference. That's why I always try to remind you all, brothers and sisters, to be as our father Abraham. To look at this generation, to look at things around you and say, well, this don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that I was born to be a slave, to serve a system? Well, I'm going to get this profession. I was listening to a person who was telling me that she's just came out of med school. She's a doctor, but she has so many bills, financial cost of for school
Loans.
loans,
Stuff.
right? That she's not even making any money really to pay it. So you go through all of that, and you're a slave. Is that what life is about?
No.
It is the same thing today. Our children go to school, go to college, and they give them money or a loan for them to be educated. And after they come well educated, they cannot find a job to pay the loan.
And
Same thing today.
and therefore you're in debt. Let's continue on. We got a lot of reading. Let's continue.
And that all their gods were vain and were of no avail.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram saw the sun shining upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram said unto himself, Surely now this sun that shines upon the earth is God,
Mm-hmm.
and him will I serve.
So Abraham, through his ignorance, was looking for something to connect to the Most High. He wanted to serve the Most High, but he did it ignorantly. But let's continue. We'll see.
And Abram served the sun in that day, and he prayed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And when evening came, the sun set as usual. And Abram said within himself, Surely this cannot be God.
Well, how can this be God? Because he disappeared. Read.
And Abram still continued to speak within himself. Who is he who made the heavens and the earth? Who created upon earth? Where is he?
Mm-hmm.
And night darkened over him, and he lifted up his eyes towards the west, north, south, and east. And he saw that the sun had vanished from the earth, and the day became dark. And Abram saw the stars and moon before him, and he said, Surely this is the God who created the whole earth, as well as man. And behold, these his servants are gods around him.
Mm.
And Abram served the moon and prayed to it all that night.
Read.
And in the morning, when it was light, and the sun shone upon the earth as usual, Abram saw all the things that Yah Elohim had made upon the earth.
So he was going through a transition, a lesson. Read.
And Abram said unto himself, Surely these are not gods that made the earth and all mankind, but these are the servants of God.
See?
And Abram remained in the house of Noah, and there knew Yah and his ways, and he served Yah all the days of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And all that generation forgot Yah, and served other gods of wood and stone, and rebelled all their days.
Today we have the church with the crosses and the crucifix and the symbols and the chains and the rosaries and all this foolishness.
There's a point that's made here.
Yeah.
If you go back to that verse,
19.
18, I think.
18, yeah.
A lot of people get distracted by Isaiah 66:23, and then they'll make remarks. But as you see, it says here,
Abraham served. He says, and in the morning when it was light and the sun shone upon the earth as usual, Abram saw all the things that Yah had made upon the earth.
right. So Adam served the moon. He did not worship it.
Yes.
He served it, because when you serve something, in a sense, you're using laws and statutes in that sense. When you worship, it's a sense of honor and sacrifice. So it's a difference in understanding that, and people get confused with that. According to the laws and commandments of the Most High, we're supposed to observe and follow what He's saying in that sense, but not worship it.
And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue and words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together, Phut, Mizraim, Cush, and Canaan with their families.
Mm-hmm.
And they said to each other, Come, let us build ourselves a city, and in it a strong tower, and its top reaching heaven, and we will make ourselves famed, so that we may reign upon the earth, the whole earth, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us. that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars.
All right, we can stop there. And the rest is just basically about the Tower of Babel being built and how the people had thought to, well, you can read the rest on your own, to fight against heaven. Okay? They shot up arrows and all kinds of crazy stuff occurred. Now, what I want to do is, for time's sake, we'll go to Joshua 11, verses 13. We'll read a little piece of that. I'm just establishing a timeline here. Joshua, go ahead and read.
And in the 50th year of the life of Abram, son of Terah, Abram came forth from the house of Noah and went to his father's house.
So, Abraham, being 50 years old now, is coming back to his father's house. Okay? After his education.
And Abram knew Yah, and he went in his ways and instructions. And Yah, his Elohim, was with him. And Terah, his father, was in those days still captain of the host of King Nimrod. And he still followed strange gods. And Abram came to his father's house and saw 12 gods standing there in their temples. And the anger of Abram was kindled when he saw these images in his father's house.
Read.
And Abram said, As Yah liveth, these images shall not remain in my father's house. So shall Yah, who created me, do unto me, if in 3 days
How many
time,
days?
3 days time, I do not break them all. And Abram went from them, and his anger burnt within him. And Abram hastened and went from the chamber of his father's outer court. And he found his father sitting in the court, and all his servants with him. And Abram came and sat before him.
Read.
And Abram asked his father, saying, Father, tell me, where is Yah who created heaven and earth, and all the sons of men upon earth? And who created thee and me? And Terah answered his son Abram and said, Behold, those who created us are all with us in the house.
Read.
And Abram said to his father, My Lord, show them to me, I pray thee. And Terah brought Abram into the chamber of the inner court. And Abram saw, and behold, the whole room was full of gods of wood and stone, 12 great images, and others less than they without number.
Read.
And Terah said to his son, Behold, these are they which made all that thou seest upon earth, which created me and thee and all mankind.
Imagine a piece of wood and stone made all everything that lives, right? Read.
And Terah bowed down to his gods, and he then went away from them, and Abram his son went away with him. And when Abram had gone from them, he went to his mother and sat before her. And he said to his mother, Behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth, and all the sons of men. Now, therefore, hasten and fetch a kid from the flock, and make of it savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them.
Read.
And his mother did so, and she fetched a kid and made savory meat thereof.
And it goes to show how the wife, Terah's wife, was in unison with her husband with the same foolishness. She didn't say, well, come on, son, I'm not going to kill an animal and feed these gods. But she was part of the plan, right? Read on.
And brought it to Abram, and Abram took the savory meat from his mother,
the stew,
and brought it before his father's gods, and he drew nigh to them, that they might eat. And Terah his father did not know of it.
Read.
And Abram saw on that day when he was sitting among them, that they had no voice.
They have no voice.
No hearing.
No hearing.
No motion.
No motion.
And not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat.
So you're sacrificing to gods that can't even move an inch to feed themselves. Read.
And Abram mocked them and said, Surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them. Or perhaps it was too little for them,
Mhm.
and for that reason they would not eat. Therefore, tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result. And
Right.
it was on the next day, that Abram directed his mother concerning the savory meat. And his mother rose and fetched 3 fine kids
More animals have to be killed.
from the flock,
Uh-huh.
and she made of them some excellent savory meat, such as her son was fond of, and she gave it to her son Abram. And Terah his father did not know of it.
Read.
And Abram took the savory meat from his mother, and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came nigh unto them, that they might eat, and he placed it before them. And Abram sat before them all day, thinking perhaps they might eat.
Read.
And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor hearing, nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to eat meat.
Read.
Stretch forth his hands to eat the meat to eat.
To the meat to eat. Read.
Right. Sorry. Verse 31. And in the evening of that day, in that house, Abram was clothed with the spirit of Yahuwah.
That's important. Being clothed with the spirit of Elohim. That's very important. Read on.
And he called out and said, Woe unto my father and this wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak.
We call that religion. Read.
Who have mouths without speech,
That's the pastors. Read.
eyes without sight,
Pastors.
ears without hearing,
Pastors.
hands without feeling,
Uh-huh.
and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them and that trust in them.
So we have 2 different things happening. We have Nimrod, who's clothed with the garments of Adam, and we have Abraham, who's clothed with the spirit of Elohim. Right? One is more mightier than the other. Both of them have rebelled. Nimrod rebelled against the Most High. Abraham rebelled against Satan.
Yes,
Read on.
gods. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father, and he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand, and came unto the chamber of the gods,
Uh-huh.
and he broke all his father's gods.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in the hand of the great God,
Mm-hmm.
which was there before them.
So he destroyed the rest and he kept one. And he put the hatchet in his hand. Read.
And he went out, and Terah his father came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of the striking of the hatchet.
Uh-huh.
So Terah came into the house to know what this was about.
So you're hearing all this destruction and he wants to know what the commotion is about. Okay.
And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the room to the images, and he met Abram going out.
Uh-huh.
And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and the hatchet in the hand of the largest, which was not broken.
Mm-hmm.
And the savory meat which Abram his son had made was still before them.
Mm-hmm.
And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abram.
Mm-hmm.
And he found Abram his son still sitting in the house. And he said to him, What is this work thou hast done to my gods? And Abram answered Terah his father, and he said, Not so, my lord, for I brought savory meat before them. And when I came nigh to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat before the great one had put forth his hand to eat.
Mm-hmm. Because after all, if the people believe in lies, what do you tell them?
Lies?
You tell them a lie. Because they don't want to hear the truth.
That's what Elijah did to prophets of Baal.
Why do we have to waste our time
Mock them.
trying to tell people when the Bible is right in front of them, written for them to read for themselves? They're saying, we don't have to do this, we don't have to do that. They make excuses. What do? will leave them to it. Go ahead and read.
And the large ones saw their works
Uh-huh.
that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them. And he went and took the hatchet that was in the house, and came to them, and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand, as thou seest.
Read.
And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram, when he spoke this.
Uh-huh.
And Terah said to Abram his son in his anger, What is this tale that thou hast told?
Uh-huh.
Thou speakest lies to me.
You're lying to me. So the father's getting a taste of his own medicine. Because he
basically.
lied to his son and told his son that these gods made you and I.
Yeah, and everything you see.
So now when the son is putting it back on the father, he's upset.
Yeah.
Read on.
Is there in this God's spirit, soul, or power to do all that thou hast told me?
Mm-hmm.
Are there not wood and stone? And have I not myself made them?
So when we see the hurricanes passing through, you can't say that CERN was responsible. It's the Most High is responsible.
That's right.
He made everything, and he's going to run everything the way he wants it. Read on.
And made them, canst thou speak such lies,
Mm-hmm.
saying that the large God that was with them smote them? It is thou that didst place the hatchet in his hands, and then says he smote them all.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram answered his father and said to him, And how canst thou then serve these idols in whom there is no power to do anything?
Imagine that. Make his father eat his own words.
Can those idols in which thou trustest deliver thee?
Mm-hmm.
Can they hear thy prayers when thou callest upon them?
When
Can
you
they
pray to,
deliver-
when you pray to Mary, can she hear? Read.
Can they deliver thee from the hands of thine enemies?
Mm-hmm.
Or will they fight thy battles for thee against thine enemies, that thou shouldest serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear?
Every year, you have people going around in Mecca around a Kaaba stone to kiss it. They can't help anybody. People go into Catholic churches to kiss it. Kiss the statue and whatnot. Read on.
And now, surely, it is not good for thee, nor for the sons of men that are connected with thee, to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Are you so silly, so foolish, or so short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner?
Read.
And forgot the Elohim, the Yahweh Elohim, who made heaven and earth, and who created you in the earth, and thereby bring a great evil upon your souls in this matter, by serving stone and wood?
So you disrespect your creator to serve these foolish gods that men set up. This is ridiculous. Read.
Did not our fathers in days of old sin in this matter?
This is why we're having this class. Read on.
And Yah Elohim of the universe brought the waters of the flood
Brought
upon
what?
the waters of the flood.
Who brought the waters of the flood?
Yah Elohim
Read.
brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed the whole earth.
And the reason he's bringing this is because of what? Sin.
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 And men worshiping other gods.
And they're saying,
Wood and
well, it's just
stone.
because of the heat in the atmosphere and because of this and that. So when there's no heat in the atmosphere, what do you say about the tornadoes and the earthquakes and stuff? Most High is using his angels who controls these things to release fury for sins on this earth. Read on.
And how can you continue to do this and serve gods of wood and stone, who cannot hear or speak or deliver you from oppression, thereby bringing down the anger of Elohim of the universe upon you? Now therefore, my father, refrain from this.
Stop from this foolishness, Daddy.
And bring not evil upon thy soul and the souls of thy household.
Read.
And Abram hastened and sprang from before his father, and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol,
And did what?
with which Abraham broke it and ran away. And Terah, seeing all that Abram had done, hastened to go from his house. And he went to the king. And he came before Nimrod and stood before him. And he bowed down to the king.
Mm-hmm.
And the king said, What doest thou want?
What do you want, Terah? Read. And now he's going to explain what he wants.
And he said, I
Uh-huh.
beseech thee, my lord, to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Now 50 years back, a child was born to me.
Uh-oh. Read.
And thus has he done to my gods, and thus has he spoken. And now therefore, my lord and king, send for him that he may come before thee.
Now
and
it goes to show, it goes to show how a big sellout his father was. The father could have kept that private, go make your own gods again, put it back there, and be done with it. But he went straight to the king because he was interested about status. He was interested about status. Let's read.
And he said, I beseech thee, my lord, to hear me. Now 50 years back a child was born to me, and thus has he done to my gods,
Mm-hmm.
and thus has he spoken. And now therefore, my lord and king, send for him that he may come before thee, and judge him according to the law, that he may be delivered from his evil.
All right, let's stop there. We'll take a few more. Let's skip on down to chapter 12 and verses 4 and 5 real quick.
Decide what judgment is due to this man who reviled the king,
Mm-hmm.
who spoke and did all the things that you heard.
Read.
And they all answered the king, saying,
What?
The man who reviled the king should be hanged upon a tree.
Ah. The one who reviled the king. That was Abraham reviling the king. They wanted to hang him on what?
Upon a tree.
A tree. What does that have to do with the Messiah? Look at the parallels. Read on.
But having done all the things that he said, and having despised our gods, he must therefore be burned to death. For this is the law in this matter.
Verse 6.
If it pleaseth the king
Mm-hmm.
to do this, let him order his servants to kindle a fire both night and day in thy brick furnace,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will cast this man into it.
What does that sound similar to?
3 Hebrew boys.
Shadrach, Meshach, and the bad Negro.
And the king did so.
Uh-huh.
And he commanded his servants that they should prepare a fire for 3 days
3 days.
and 3 nights.
And 3 nights. What is that a sign of? The Messiah.
Messiah.
Read.
In the king's furnace.
Uh-huh.
That is in Kashdim. And the king ordered them to take Abram from prison and bring him out to be burnt.
So when you see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in prison in the furnace, and the Son of Man was there, it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
They're all connected to the Messiah.
Mhm.
Everything is connected to the Messiah. That's why these wise men says, kill the seed before it grows.
Yes.
Kill the seed before it grows.
Mhm.
Now let's skip on to verses 27. Verses 27 for time's sake.
It's really
Read
good.
from 22.
And the king's servant took Abram and his brother, and they stripped them of all their clothes,
Mm-hmm.
excepting
Accepting,
excepting their lower garments which were upon them.
And what did they do?
And they bound their hands and feet with linen cords. And the servant of the king lifted them up and cast them both into the furnace.
Uh-huh. 24.
And Yah loved Abram, and he had compassion over him.
So we should be concerned about our Elohim loving us, and not friends, family, or whatever the case may be. Read.
And Yah came down and delivered Abram from the fire, and he was not burned.
Didn't we read the same thing in the book of Daniel?
Absolutely.
One of them that is in the midst looks like the Son of Man.
Yes.
Read on.
But all the cords with which they bound him were burnt,
Uh-huh.
while Abram remained and walked about in the fire.
Mm.
And Abram walked in the midst of the fire 3 days and 3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And all the servants of the king saw him walking in the fire. And they came and told the king, saying, Behold, we have seen Abram walking about in the midst of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And even the lower garments which are upon him are not burnt, but the cord with which he was bound is burnt.
That's all we want.
Right.
So we can see how important it was the Most High preserve these words so we can see the connection throughout the scriptures and also having to do with us in this very day. Because Abraham is a seed that have us within himself.
Just did read that part, but just the first part, which says, "And Haran died when they had cast him into the fire, and he was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with Yah."
That's the same Haran that Lot's father.
Lot's father, yes.
So that was his brother. His brother
That's right.
died. And I just wanted to say that, with that being said, it's, just thinking about yourself. Just because you hang around someone that is perfect doesn't make you saved.
That's right.
You yourself have to have a perfect heart in order for you to be saved. So
Yes.
just want to just mention that.
That's the Most
Now
High
we're
knows.
gonna go to 45 and pick it up from there, and then we'll close because this is deep. Now this is one of the reasons why Abraham decided to just pack up and leave his father's house, because it was just getting crazy. Let's go on to verses 45 now, and let's see a little more prophecy, okay? And then we'll close up here. From verse 45, go ahead and read.
And at the expiration of 2 years from Abram's going out of the fire, that is in the 52nd year of his life, behold, King Nimrod sat in Babel upon the throne. And the king fell asleep and dreamed that he was standing with his troops and host in a valley opposite the king's furnace. And he lifted up his eyes and saw a man in the likeness of Abram coming forth from the furnace. And that he came and stood before the king with his drawn sword, and then sprang to the king with his sword. When the king fled from the man, for he was afraid. And when he was running, the man threw an egg upon the king's head, and the egg became a great river.
Read.
And the king dreamed that all his troops sank in the river,
In that river.
and died. And the king took flight with 3 men who were before him, and he escaped. And the king looked at these men, and they were clothed in princely dresses, as the garments of kings, and had the appearance and majesty of kings. And while they were running, the river again turned to an egg before the king. And there came forth from the egg a young bird, which came before the king,
And do what?
and flew at his head and plucked out the king's eyes.
Now notice it says it's dealing with 3 and all these things is popping up. It ties into Joseph. You remember the dream, and you remember the
Pharaoh.
butler, the baker, the things picking things out.
Yeah.
Okay, read.
So all these are during the kingdom of the Hamites.
The head of gold.
Right. Yes, the head of gold, because it trickled all the way into Egypt. with
That's right.
Joseph.
That's right.
Also the sea.
Yeah,
All Pharaoh's men
Died.
drowned in the sea. Read.
And the king was grieved at the sight, and he awoke out of his sleep, and his spirit was agitated, and he felt a great terror. And in the morning the king rose from his couch in fear, and he ordered all the wise men and magicians to come before him.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
Read.
When the king related his dream to them, and a wise servant of the king, whose name was
Anuki.
Anuki, answered the king, saying, "This is nothing else but the evil of Abram and his seed, which will spring up against my lord,
When?
against my lord and king in the latter days."
In the latter days. This king has been receiving all types of prophecy from the very beginning, and for some reason, every time he tries to put a stop to it, he's trying to stamp out this man before he has children. Abraham didn't have any sons as yet. But the dreams, everything that was happening was so powerful. He says, I got to get rid of this guy. Verses 53. And behold,
And behold, the day will come when
Uh-huh.
Abram and his seed and the children of his household will war with my king,
mhm,
and they will smite all the king's host and his troops.
that's the future. Read.
And as to what thou hast said concerning 3 men, which thou didst see, like unto thyself,
Mhm.
and which did escape, this means that only thou will escape with 3 kings from the kings of the earth, who will be with thee in battle.
Mm.
And that which thou sawest of the river, which turned to an egg as at first, and the young bird plucking out thine eye, this means nothing else but the seed of Abram, which will slay the king in latter days.
Now it says the king will escape. You know that the Most High said, I think it's in Isaiah, that the Egyptians will serve him, and who else?
The Syrians.
The who?
The
The Assyrians.
Yes.
And the Egyptians.
Yes.
Those two,
Mm-hmm.
along with Israel.
Israel, yes.
He's going to preserve them.
Yeah.
What 2 kingdoms did the Most High send us to for punishment? Babylon, Assyria.
Assyria,
Assyria and Babylon,
Babylon.
was primarily originally together as one,
Yes.
and also Egypt.
Egypt. Mm-hmm.
He never sent us to Europe,
Right.
but he used that region of the world, and he also used the African region of the world to teach us a lesson throughout history, right? So that is the history, and those are the people he will preserve at a certain time. But as far as the other nations, that's another story. Okay? All you have to do is look at the beginning, and you'll have a better understanding of how things is going to be
Play
in the
out
end.
in the
Let's finish up verses 56.
This is my king's dream, and this is its interpretation, and the dream is true, and the interpretation which thy servant has given thee is right.
Let's get verses 57 for last, and we're going to close it up there.
Now therefore, my king, surely thou knowest that it is now 52 years since the sages saw this at the birth of Abram. And if my king will suffer Abram to live in the earth, it will be to the injury of my Lord and King. For all the days that Abram liveth, neither thou nor thy kingdom will be established. For this was known formerly at his birth. And why will not my king slay him, that his evil may be kept from thee in latter days?
So, again, brothers and sisters, when you look at the history throughout this earth, and we can continue on looking at other things too, but for time's sake, we're going to have to stop here. We can see that Abraham's birth, the night that Abraham was born, was judgment to the whole entire earth. It was a night to proclaim judgment.
I wanted to say that verse 54 of the chapter we just read, and it says, and as to what thou hast said concerning 3 men which thou see like unto thyself, and which did escape, this means that only thou will escape with 3 kings. If you go to Genesis 14:1, you're going to see, and it came to pass in the days of Amramphel, king of Shinar. If you look up Amramphel, that was actually Nimrod. And you're going to see that he went to battle with 3 kings. And then at the end of the battle, they basically escaped, but they were under Kedolama, and they served him for a number of times. So that prophecy came to pass.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Also, if you look at what happened with when Cush took the garment of Adam, you're going to notice that one man took the fallen garment and clothed himself, and then Abraham also got the uplifted garment, which is the spirit of the Most High. So you have a man that actually took the fallen garment from Adam, which was falling from God, and he put that on, and he became a ruler over the physical nations at that time. But then you have one who actually, after the 50th year, actually like a jubilee, he was actually freed, and the Spirit of the Most High covered him. And just like the Feast of Weeks, he was covered, and then he used that spirit to trust in the Most High, and he was actually liberated and uplifted and became a friend of God also. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to share that. And then you had another chapter where you had verse 51, where Abraham, in a sense, is being raised in an Egyptian king's environment, or under Egyptian king, and he's being loved and what's not, until they found out exactly what he's going to be. And you go to the story of Moses and also Joseph. But the difference is Moses' story was, in a sense, more like him, because Moses was being raised up to lead the people away from Egypt and all of that too. So, and Joseph was there more of a person to make sure to enjoy the life of them. So you have the same story, but Abraham is playing a dual part of it.
All right. See, so you see the parallels. You're able to make the connections. That's the important thing. The more we read the scriptures, we'll be able to make those connections. That's why in the volume of the book it is written about the Messiah and all these different prophecies he placed within these men, that they will be able to fulfill his will. Even those men who ruled as kings is fulfilling another side of the Messiah, when he will subdue all these nations with a rod of iron.
I got one more to say.
Go ahead.
In the end of in Daniel, I think it's chapter 2, when you look at the statue and you see the feet of the statue, and it says the feet mixed with miry clay. The word mixed, that word is actually Arab. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up, you're going to see that we have the Roman, which is the feet of iron, the nation of iron, and then you have the miry clay, which is actually the Muslim or Arab nations, or which we call them Ishmael today. And they're mixing together because the Muslim religion came out from under the Catholic religion. In other words, Rome actually helped to form that religion.
That's
and
correct.
You have the two of them right now pushing to do what? To eliminate and crush every other religion on the earth. So you have that mixing that's already been going on for years now that most people don't see.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Kifa, you got something you want to say? Mm-hmm. Let me pull up the Daniel 2:41 that the brother's speaking about, just to show the proof.
Yeah, and part of it is...
Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, and part of it is spoke of Casdim, and that could be spelled with a C-R-K, but that's identifying Syria and Turkey, which is called that today.
Oh, okay. So the brother mentioned mixed, the iron mixed. Let's look at the word mixed, H6151. H651. And what does it say? Arab or Arab. See it on the screen? All right. Mix or mingle, Arab. There's a lesson on the web. You can check it out. So let me close this out. That concludes our class for today. And go back, study the scrolls, and understand that when we see the events that is happening, as a matter of fact, it mentions in the scriptures, and let me pull it up for you all. See, Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 10. Because a lot of times we find in churchianity, they quote certain things, but they don't tell you who it's connected to. They don't give Jack his jacket, or certain people their due. So, Deuteronomy 32 and 10. Let's start at verses 9.
For Yahuwah's portion is his people.
Uh-huh.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
And Jacob came from Isaac, and Isaac came from Abraham. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So being a people of prophecy is in our blood. Verses 10.
He found him in a desert land,
Uh-huh.
and in the waste howling wilderness.
Uh-huh.
He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye.
He kept Jacob, not the whole world, but Jacob as the apple of his what?
Eye.
Apple of his eye. Let's go to Proverbs 7 and 2. Proverbs 7 and 2. Just to show you how they can take our stuff and make a mess out of it. Proverbs 7 and 2. And has nothing to do with anybody just quoting stuff. It's dealing with a specific people.
It says, keep my commandments and live,
Mm-hmm.
and my law as the apple of thine eye.
My law as the apple of your eye. Let's give one more. Zechariah chapter 2 verses 8. This is the prophets.
For thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you.
Mm-hmm.
For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
The apple of his eye is dealing with Israelites. You can read the rest of the verse, the chapter, and you'll see it's speaking about a chosen seed. This is why the nations are trying to stamp us out with all these different programs and whatnot. So when we see these hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, solar flares, and all these different things, it's happening because the Most High have sent his angels to release these punishments on this earth.
I want to read something real quick.
What you got?
It's still in Zechariah, but I want to read the part that, for you to see how the angels are really doing this thing.
Zechariah chapter 1 verses 17. Go ahead.
As a matter of fact, I'll do 16.
16.
Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies.
Mm-hmm.
My house shall be built in it, saith Yahuwah of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and Yah shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Then lifted I up mine eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these?
Mm-hmm.
And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem.
Mm.
And Yah showed me 4 carpenters. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head.
That's us.
But these are come to fray them,
Mm-hmm.
and to cast out the horns of the Gentiles,
Mm-hmm.
which lifted up their horns over the land of Judah to scatter it.
See? So the ones who got into our territories to scatter us, the Grecians, the Romans, and all these other powers, Most High is going to put an end to these powers. That's why the dream terrified Nimrod, because he was the beginning of a whole world empire.
Yes.
And all in between was men. The hand of man was in between the two. The hand of man. Man was dealing, but the hand of the Most High is going to be at the end. So with that said, brothers and sisters, we're going to ask Dod Shemuel to close up with prayer. Remember to keep our brothers and sisters in prayer. And we ourselves have to keep watch, be vigilant. We're not afraid of anything, but we prepare ourselves. We know that the times are short. We know that the Most High is making it so. We know that the storms can turn and go different ways. Tornadoes can happen. Hail could happen. All kinds of stuff could happen. But let us be as Abraham was. And let us stand for righteousness. And let us pray that the kingdom will come in our lifetime. So I love you all. Stay strong. Stay sharp. Let us all face Jerusalem. And we'll ask Dod Shemuel to close out with prayer in Messiah's name.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for your word. We thank you for this moment in your presence. We pray, Lord, that you will be with those in the hurricane times and those that are in distress. We ask you to bless the offering, bless our hearts, bless the food, and many others at this moment. We ask you, Lord, that you have compassion on them. Those that want to serve thee, may you bless them likewise and draw them to thee. Because you do ask it, oh Lord, in your wonderful name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
The words of our mouth, meditation of our hearts, be acceptable in your sight, O Yah, our strength, Redeemer.